previously we created a script for automatic deployments on Google Play Store, but the script is missing two parts. One is an automatic version bump of the bundle that we are about to ship to Google Play, and the other one, which is very important, is running the UI tests. So the goal of this episode is to set up a Firebase testing lab to run our UI tests on a real device. So they are gonna be part of the flow. So they are gonna be a requirement before we deploy to Play Store. My name is Jov, this is Test-driven development, so let's go ahead and finish the scripts for running the tests and the deployments, so then we can focus on the actual code and running on real features. So let's switch to the code over here. And I'm gonna jump into presentation mode so that we can see it better. And so this is the script that we had so far. And let me see, here is the, so I just wanna make, let's first focus on cleaning up the scripts. So this one is about running the only the unit tests, the JVM tests, the micro tests as you wish. But I don't want them to run whenever I push to main, because the goal is to, whenever I have a pull request, only when there is a pull request, I'm gonna run those tests, and then once the pull request is merged into the main branch, part of the job of the other script, of the deployment script, is gonna be to run these tests, also the UI tests, and only then deploy to Play Store. So let's see. So here we have this one's gonna run on Ubuntu latest. And it's gonna set up JDK 11, and then okay, let's maybe split these like to make it better, to see better. And I think now it looks fine. Yeah, the only thing that we changed here was basically not to run the tests whenever we merge into the main branch, but only on a pull request. I think this one seems fine. So what we can do first is, let's maybe check this one in. Oh yeah, first I also have to point out that off camera I have created an application icon so that I can set up the store listing on the Play Store for the draft that we submitted first. So yeah, basically that's something that changed, nothing very important, and that's a commit that I haven't pushed yet. And now this one's gonna be update the unit tests script, and that's gonna be about it. And now let's focus on the actual script that's gonna be publishing to Play Store. It's gonna run whenever there is a push in main, which means like after a merge, it's gonna also try to deploy. So what we wanna do first is start off with with the tests. So first, as I said, we are gonna run the tests. The JVM tests. Then we want to run the UI tests and then make the deployment. So basically this step here is gonna be just, I'll just rename it to distribute, and let's see how everything goes. So basically what I can do is I'm just gonna paste from what I had in the previous, in the other script here, and then I'm gonna go through the steps. So first, this is unit tests. It uses checkout v2, set up JDK 11, then grant the permission to the Gradle file. I'm not sure if this one is actually required, but I'm just gonna leave it. It doesn't harm anything. And then run unit tests, which is great. And then, so the idea is that this, the tests, I still haven't learned if they are called steps, but I guess they are called steps. So this test can run in parallel with setting up the, with the preparations for the UI tests. So basically, it don't, and nothing really depends afterwards on this one. So I think they can run in parallel. I can leave it as it is. I'm not gonna depend on that one, but if I see a need afterwards, I'll change it. Okay, I think this one looks fine. And then let's see what comes next. So next, what we have to do is we have to generate basically two APKs. One is the debug APK, and another APK is the tests APK. That actually the tests APK is the one where the tests are, and it's gonna be used to actually exercise the tests on this other APK that we are gonna create. So both are important, both are required. So first we'll need that. So let's name this one APK. And maybe just to cut some time, I'll also paste these steps, but I'll explain everything that's here. So it's gonna generate an APK. It's gonna run on Ubuntu latest, and then the steps are similar to previously. First is the checkout, then it's gonna set up JDK 11, and then this is the first thing that we have to do is assemble the app debug APK, and we just execute a Gradle command, assemble debug, and that's gonna create a debug APK. And what we need is to actually publish this APK, upload as an artifact, so it can be used in the following steps. So there is already a something that we can use for that, which is the upload artifact action, which comes from, I guess, from GitHub itself. So you can use that one. So when we assemble debug, we have the APK in hand. So now we have to upload it. Now we just set a name there as app debug, and this is the path where the APK would be created after executing this. So basically, if you execute this line locally, then you will see that into the app build output APK, it's gonna be created the APK. If you have different structure, obviously you'll have to alter this one depending on your structure. Maybe you have different modules and whatever, but yeah, you will have to do that. The important point is the path where the APK, the debug APK, is gonna be leaving after execution of the assemble debug. And then the app debug is this name is also important for the following step, as we're gonna see. So that's about the actual app APK. Now we have to also assemble the tests APK, which is here named as assemble app instrumentation tests. And the command for that one is assemble debug Android test. And that one's gonna create different APK, which is the testing APK. And we also have to upload that similarly as we did before. Just upload, this is the name that I'm using, but basically what's gonna be happening is just use the same action, which is upload artifact. And I here use the name app debug Android test, and this is the path of the generated APK, so it knows where to find it in order to upload it. That's about it. Next, I think we have to now we have the APKs uploaded. Next, what we have to do is to set up the Firebase. So the idea is that we want to run the tests using the Firebase Test Lab. So we are gonna need these artifacts that we have uploaded previously in this step. So let's see how we are gonna do that. So first, I'm just gonna name this one run UI tests with Firebase Test Lab. And this is very important. Needs. So this one needs the APK. So that's the way to tell that this Firebase step is gonna, or action, is gonna require this one to pass first, and it has to wait on this one to pass first in order to continue with this one. So it needs APK, and then this one's gonna run on also Ubuntu latest. And next, I think I'll just also copy paste the what I have prepared in order to probably not make a mistake and also save a bit of time. So you won't see me typing, but actually only go through the steps. So let's see the steps. First, it's gonna do the checkout. Then we have to download the APKs that we have generated previously. So now here it uses also a download artifact. So previously we were using an upload artifact, version 1, which is an action, as I said, by GitHub. Similarly, we have download artifact. And now the important point that I mentioned before is the app debug. And the app debug Android test. Those are the names that we used for uploading. Now for downloading, we have to also use the same names. That's why that was the importance there. So basically, we just use download artifact. Then the name we put the same, and we also download the app test APK, and the actions download as well, and then also the same name. Now this is the important part, is that we have to set up the Google Cloud. There is a action provided by Google for this, which is called, here it is, Google GitHub Actions setup gcloud at master. So basically here we have to tell, we have to create a project on Firebase, which is something that we will do right after. So we'll have to create a project ID. We have to create a project and then paste its ID here, and we'll also have to create a authentication service that we'll have to use. And once that's done, it means that we have set the gcloud, and the gcloud is something that helps us execute the tests. So after we have that done, here I have another step, which is run instrumentation tests in Firebase Test Lab. So the command is gcloud Firebase test Android, and then we have to specify the type of a test, because there is Roboto, there is I don't know what is the other one, and the instrumentation as well. So our tests are gonna be instrumentation, and then we're gonna use that. And then we have to specify what's the app, which is inside the app debug folder, and it's app debug APK, because that's where we download it. In the download step, we have downloaded it into app debug, and the name was app debug APK, as we have it here, I guess. Yes. And also this one for the following one, that's the test APK. And finally, once we have said that, we have to select a device. So here I have set a model Flame version 30, and the Flame, this model is basically Google Pixel 4, I guess. So one way to see this is if you if you set up the gcloud on your local PC, you can find more about it on the actual Firebase documentation page. You can find how to do that actually here using Firebase Test Lab from the gcloud command line. So this is how you can set up install the gcloud and set up locally, and then by running this command you can actually see the list of available devices, and that's something that I have done here. This is the terminal. So here we can see all the devices that I have available. Basically, if I run this command, here are the devices that are available, and we can see which one is physical, which one is just virtual, which means emulator. And if we look for the flame here, that's the Google Pixel 4, and here I have selected the version, OS version IDs. I have selected 30. So that's what I am gonna be using for my tests. At least for now. This is something that can change later, right? So the idea is that to set up this gcloud, you don't have to set it up locally. What I have set up locally is only to be able to manipulate it and see some different commands that I might need later, but it's not a requirement for setting up this thing. And then finally, we're gonna have the distribution step, which is something that we have created previously. But let's go ahead and go through that and see what we have, and maybe make a little cleanup. So it's gonna run on Ubuntu latest as well. And let's see the steps. So this one first of all, we'll need to let's put a name on this one. I'll name it distribute a bundle to Play Store. And then also important is that this one needs the Firebase. I think that was, yes. So that's how we are chaining them, right? So it needs the Firebase. It's gonna run on Ubuntu latest, and the steps are set up JDK 11. That's great. Then now before we assemble the release bundle, we have to bump the version or the version code and then assemble the bundle, so that we can, when we push the bundle to the Play Store, it's gonna be at least one version number bigger than the previous one, so that Google Play will accept it and then make it available for the customers. Otherwise, if we use the current or the or like smaller number for the version code, it's not gonna work. So I found a good one online for version bump, and it's this one. So the name is bump version here. I mean, this is something that the name is something that like we choose. It doesn't matter, it can be whatever really. I just chose bump version. Maybe we can do version bump, doesn't matter. As I said, this is the important. We are gonna use this step, this I don't know how it is called, it is sort of action, I guess. And what we have to specify is where is our build Gradle, and then what version code we want to apply. So what I'm gonna do is I'll apply the GitHub run number. So the current run number of the GitHub is gonna be my version code, which is definitely gonna be bigger than the previous one, and that's gonna be sufficient, I guess. We can also here use a version name if we want to, and we can come up with version name. That's something supported by this section, but that's not something that I need at this moment. So once our version bump is done, we can assemble a release bundle. And to do that, we have to run, basically it can be a one line here. We have to run Gradle bundle release. this is something that we have said in the previous video. So let's just go ahead and see what we have. Sign the release. It's gonna just use this action to sign the release. This is something that already worked, so it's all fine. Then create the JSON. This is basically setup authorization with Google Play Store, basically in order to be able to publish it, deploy to, and actually we are using internal, and that's gonna be about it. Yeah, this is something that worked previously, which is great. Now we are sort of close to done. What is missing is here the project ID. We haven't created the project, so now let's go ahead and create a project and see how that's gonna go. So first of all, in our Firebase Console here, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new project, and I'm gonna name this Friends. Let's maybe I don't like it. Cool. Yeah, just the project ID is something that we have to we will need later, and I don't want that sort of something that Firebase comes by itself. I just want something custom. I don't know. Let's continue. Select an account. No. Oops. I think that's one for the Google Analytics. That's why I already have a project, and I have selected in the previous tab that I wanted. That's something I'm just guessing that's what it asked for. So it's gonna put both analytics under the same sort of account. Cool. Let's continue. Now that's our project, and this is the test lab that we are gonna be using. So what we have to do here in the project overview, we just go in the project settings and make sure the project ID is something that I have copied before, but I'm just gonna copy again here. And this is where we have to put it, all right? So first of all, I don't want to hard code it, so I'm just gonna put it in my project secrets. So this is also one more demonstration of how we can do that. Just put the value here, and the secret name is gonna be Friends Project ID. Let's add this. This is not really secret, but it's sort of an environment variable that I want to use. And then here, I'll just paste that one. Friends Project ID. And now the service account key. This is very important. So what we have to do is just go in the service accounts. And then if I just generate a new private key, this is a JSON that's gonna be downloaded on my computer. And now what I have to do with this JSON, what I'm gonna do is, if I go to my desktop and I see this Friends app, Droid, Firebase, admin, SDK, blah, blah, blah. So it's the JSON. What I want to do is I want to encrypt it with base 64. And then I'll give Friends app, yeah, this one. And I'm just going to encrypt it into, let's see, Firebase Test Lab txt. Now I'm gonna copy the content of this file. Let me find it. It's here. So I copied that one, and what I wanna do is I'm gonna also create a secret here for that one, but I'm gonna do that off the screen, so just to be more secure. Here we go, add new repository secret, and that's gonna be Firebase let me see, friends. So let's maybe give it a friends Firebase Test Lab auth. And then I'm just gonna paste what I have copied from the base 64 encrypted thingy. And now here I'll just refresh the page so you can see it's here. Friends Firebase Test Lab auth. That's what I have created, and then what I'm gonna do is back in my script, I'm just gonna paste it here. So basically my script now is ready, so we can push this one, but there are two, or I'm not sure how many, but there are a few more things that we need to do before we will be able to do that. So basically here, first we have to give some permissions. So if you go into manage service account permissions, here we can see the Firebase admin SDK EOXC1 friends whatever. So basically what we have to do is give this which is this description here, we have to give an editor permission, otherwise it wouldn't work. So if we go into the IAM, here we go. As we can see, I think this is the one on top. It says Firebase admin SDK administrator service agent blah blah blah. We just go into the edit, and here you can just add role and just select here editor, and that's very important. So it has to have an editor permission, otherwise nothing will work. So now if we go back to the page with the requirements, there is one last step that we have to do. So we have given the editor permission. This is the second thing. I'm gonna make sure to link this page in the description of the video. So once we have this editor, the last thing is to enable the Google Cloud Testing API and the Cloud Tool Result API. I'm just gonna go ahead and open this page. And here, we just have to make sure that on the top, we have selected the project, the correct project. And next, just if I just copy this and paste it here, this is the API that we need. So it is enabled already, which is great. And we also need the result, Cloud Tool Result API. If I open, yes, Cloud Tool Result API. And this one was not enabled, so we have to enable it. Once that's done, we are pretty much, everything's pretty much set, so we can use the Firebase Testing Lab. So I'm just gonna close this one and this one as well, and this one. So yeah, here is in the test lab we will be able to see the results, but also they will be available in the here in the actions after the actions are when the action is executed, we'll be able to see. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push this so we can see the action running. So maybe I have some mistakes in the script, like because this is YAML, I don't know how I can validate if it's like valid first, but if there are mistakes, most probably there will be some validation mistakes. So let's now check this in, and I'll name this upload, no, maybe deployment script completed. Now I'm just gonna push the main branch and back to my project. If I go into the actions, exactly, it fails because I have syntax error on line 29. So let's find it. So name runs on should be should have no space, runs on, and then steps should be also the same indentation. And if I do this, I guess, and if I do this, so it moved everything to the left, I guess. Yeah. And back to my, so I'm just gonna amend and force push because I don't want to pollute with like shitload of commits on top. So I'm just gonna force push this one and then see. So maybe the fact that it was appearing as yellowish highlighted, it was already telling me that there is a mistake. Line 99 now. Okay, so that highlighted thingy maybe was telling me, yeah, this one, 99 exactly. So this is maybe a sign to tell if there is a validation problem or not. So what's this? I don't know why. So what I can do is I have to pull this to the left and this one as well. It should be like that. Okay, are there some more yellow lines? No. So the same procedure again. Here is my change, amend, and then force push. So after I have the script set, I'm just gonna block the force pushes, actually any direct push to main branch, and everything's gonna go through PR. But once, like before I am done with the scripts, it doesn't make sense to make PRs on everything. Now it runs, which means that's great. So here we can see in the preview that running the unit tests and generating the APK, they run in parallel. So at this stage, I don't feel that I need to make the generate APK wait on the unit tests, but that might be also a reasonable thing, like if the unit tests are not passing, why generating APK at all? So maybe that's something that I want to change, but we'll see. At least for now, I think for this video, I'm just gonna leave it. And then we'll see how everything goes. So right now, I just want to wait for this one to finish in order to validate if everything works. So if this works, we're gonna have the unit tests passing, the Firebase Test Lab running, that we can see the results, and we are gonna have a new deployment on the Play Store, so that in the next episode we can focus on updating some dependencies. I know that some dependencies are already they need an update. For example, the compose is, I think, now alpha 12 at this moment, but by the time the next episode is gonna be recorded, most probably they're gonna even turn into beta if everything goes according to the expectations. We'll see. But yeah, I'll just update the entire thing. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen in this video, because the video will take too long. So only after running the tests now, we can just wrap up everything. But yeah, that's the plan. So update the dependencies and start working on the first thing that comes to that was discussed in the product outline. So we can just take a look and discuss where to start. So generating APK already went by, which is great, and now we have to just see how running the UI tests gonna work. And it's great that actually it prints everything here. So if there is an error, we can spot it right away where the error is. So this is the first time for me using GitHub Actions. I mean, this period I haven't had any experience with GitHub Actions before, and I'm pretty much impressed. Previously I was using Bitrite, which is also great. Even easier, I would say, for I mean, there is no this boilerplate with setting up the Firebase Test Lab by myself. Bitrate does that for us. But yeah, I mean, learning new things is always great, so why not? And finally, maybe I'd like to discuss why running the UI tests is important as part of the entire thing. Is like, I see them as a very valuable thing. Like the UI tests, normally what I do is I have some sort of end-to-end action, like for example perform sign up and then restart the app and make sure that I'm still signed in. I don't need to, for example, re-authorize myself, or perform a sign up and then try to log in and then see if everything works, that kind of things. Obviously I'm not gonna make and that's part of what we are gonna be doing here, not to make not to use the real backend in order to do these sections. So it's gonna use the entire code up to the boundary, to the actual call of the making the actual call to sign up or sign into the backend, and that's gonna be we are gonna use test doubles for that one. So the tests are gonna run super fast, as we are gonna see actually. Normally in the project that I work for, like commercial projects at my work, I have we have some tests that are I mean bunch of tests running in like almost no time. Basically it like you see the emulator clicks and everything, but they run pretty fast. So we are gonna see how to achieve that here as well. So yeah, and because those are tests that are sort of, the idea is not to have too many of them, but they're really important to tell what's the state of the application, and then if they run, we can like deploy directly to Play Store and sleep well at night. So here it is, it went by. So the tests, it was running the tests on the test lab, and as we can see here, there is the outcome, which is really nicely printed. There is one test that was executed, and that one is the default test that comes when you create a new project, which is this one here, example instrumented test. So this is the one, and basically we can also see the same if I open here in the test lab. I should be able to see the results, and I think they're also like, if there is a failure or something, they are able to show the actual video, so you can see the recording of like what steps were performed and where the failure happened. But this is really cool, I like it. So yeah, I think videos. Here it is. So we can see what was actually, what were the actions performed and everything. So yeah, that's really cool. You can play with this more. And yeah, so I'm just gonna link this page in the video description. And now the distribution is the last step. That should deploy a new version on the Play Store. And once that's done, we are done. So everything's gonna be just ready to work. I'm also wondering whether it's gonna be valuable to do whenever I'm working on this one, to go to make a live stream on Twitch or maybe YouTube or maybe both. So I'm wondering if that's gonna be something valuable, especially because, as I said previously, we're gonna use Compose, and then there are things that I'm gonna be learning on the way, and maybe it's gonna be valuable for like having a chat while working, and then you can ask questions or give suggestions. So I'm sure that there will be questions that I wouldn't know, and you most probably will know, or at least someone from you will know, and then it might be a cool thing to try. So let me know what you think about it. Okay, it fails, saying only releases with status draft may be created on. Okay, so I think the problem is in a setup of so it successfully uploaded the artifact, but the problem is on the actual let me find it. Google Play Console. I think there is something with the setup of the application, the console itself. So this is the icon that I came up with. I think it's kind of cool. So it's internal testing. So as we can see here, it didn't came through, I guess. Yeah, for the testers, if you want, once again, just drop me your email, so I'm gonna add you in the list of testers, so you'll be receiving applications as we are gonna be working through this. But make sure, do note that the application name is gonna be like this, Mineral Hanger, until we publish a real version there. But yeah, I really have no clue what went wrong actually. View release details. I don't know what's going on here. The track is working fine. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna Google the problem, and then I'll tell in the following episode what was the problem and why it didn't work. But I'm sure that yeah, maybe I just have to do some, like, publish the draft that I have there in order to be able to publish these ones. Anyway, I'm gonna look at that. I'm just gonna figure that out off camera, and then I'll tell and explain what was the problem. But I think now we have a solid ground in order to start working on the actual code, which has to happen, and I'm planning to happen in the following episode. So thank you so much for the attention and for watching this. I really hope this one is valuable and useful for you, and it's gonna help you set up the actual continuous delivery on your side. Give some feedback if you have, and thank you so much for the time. I'm gonna catch you in the next episode. Bye bye.